Hello there, and welcome to a place where curiosity meets tranquility. I'm Charles, and tonight we're embarking on a gentle journey into one of nature's most peaceful mysteries. While the world outside grows quiet and the day settles into evening, we'll discover how creatures across our planet find their own moments of rest. There's something deeply comforting about watching the natural world prepare for sleep. Perhaps it's because sleep is one of the few experiences that connects every living thing on Earth. From the tiniest hummingbird to the largest whale, every creature must find their way to rest. Yet, as we'll discover together, the ways they do this are far more extraordinary than we could ever imagine. Tonight, we'll drift alongside dolphins who sleep with one eye open, marvel at elephants who barely sleep at all, and witness the upside-down slumber of creatures who've turned sleep itself into an art form. We'll explore coral reefs where fish tuck themselves into sandy beds, and forests where birds perform the delicate balance of sleeping while perched high above the ground. Each story we'll share is a window into the remarkable adaptations that millions of years have shaped, creating sleep solutions as diverse as life itself. If you find these gentle explorations help you unwind, or if you simply enjoy learning about the quieter wonders of our world, consider liking and subscribing. It helps others find their way to these peaceful moments too. But for now, let's begin our journey into the sleeping world of animals. In the vast blue expanses of our oceans, where sunlight fades into mysterious depths, marine mammals have solved one of nature's greatest puzzles. How do you sleep when you must breathe air, yet live entirely underwater? The answer lies in one of the most remarkable sleeping innovations ever discovered. Dolphins have mastered what scientists call unihemispheric sleep. Imagine if you could let half your mind rest while the other half remained alert and aware. This is exactly what these intelligent creatures do every single day. When a dolphin needs to sleep, it shuts down only one hemisphere of its brain, while the other half continues to function, monitoring the environment and controlling the vital rhythm of breathing. Picture a bottlenose dolphin gliding through crystal clear waters near a coral reef. As evening approaches, you might notice something fascinating. The dolphin closes one eye, always the eye opposite to the brain hemisphere that's resting. If the left side of its brain is sleeping, the right eye closes. The open eye and active brain hemisphere work together, scanning for predators, tracking the movements of its pod, and most crucially, remembering to surface for air. This extraordinary adaptation means that dolphins never truly experience the complete unconsciousness that we associate with sleep. They exist in a state between waking and sleeping, always partially aware of their surroundings. Researchers have observed that dolphins spend about 1/3 of their day in this restful state, floating peacefully at the surface or swimming slowly alongside their companions. But dolphins have another sleeping behavior that's equally mesmerizing to witness. When they enter deeper rest, they sometimes engage in what's called logging. The name comes from their appearance during these moments. A sleeping dolphin will float motionlessly at the water's surface, resembling a drifting log. Their breathing becomes slow and regular, and they seem to surrender completely to the gentle rocking of the waves. Young dolphins have their own unique sleeping arrangement. Calves rest, eat, and even sleep while their mothers continue swimming, pulling them along in what's known as echelon swimming. The baby dolphin positions itself alongside its mother's body, riding in the slipstream created by her movement through the water. This allows the calf to rest while the mother remains vigilant, often sleeping on the move herself using her remarkable unihemispheric abilities. Perhaps most touching of all is the sacrifice that mother dolphins and killer whales make for their young. During the first weeks of a calf's life, when they are most vulnerable to predators and still learning to navigate their underwater world, mothers may not sleep at all for 1 to 2 months. They remain constantly alert, protecting their babies through pure determination and love. Moving from the dolphins' innovative sleep solutions to an even more spectacular display of oceanic slumber, we encounter the sperm whales. These gentle giants, the largest toothed predators on Earth, have developed perhaps the most unusual sleeping position in the entire animal kingdom. Imagine descending into the deep blue, far from any shoreline, when suddenly you encounter something that seems to defy explanation. Floating vertically in the water column, like massive living pillars, groups of sperm whales hang motionless in the ocean. Their enormous heads point toward the surface while their powerful tails extend deep below. Both eyes are closed, and they appear to be in the deepest possible sleep. This vertical sleeping position was only discovered recently, when researchers were finally able to observe sperm whales in their natural habitat without disturbing them. What they found was extraordinary. These massive creatures, which can grow up to 60 feet in length and weigh as much as 50 tons, sleep standing upright in the water like underwater skyscrapers. The whales don't maintain this position for long. Their vertical slumber lasts only about 20 minutes at a time before they must return to active swimming and breathing. But during these brief periods, they achieve something remarkable. They enter a state of complete rest, with both brain hemispheres sleeping simultaneously, something that smaller dolphins cannot safely do while maintaining their breathing rhythm. Scientists believe that sperm whales can hold their breath during these short sleeping periods because of their incredible diving adaptations. These are animals that regularly dive to depths of over 3,000 feet, holding their breath for up to 90 minutes while hunting for giant squid in the ocean's darkest depths. 20 minutes of sleep without breathing is well within their extraordinary capabilities. The sight of sleeping sperm whales has an almost mystical quality. Their massive forms suspended in the blue void create an image that seems to belong more to dreams than reality. Pod members often sleep together, creating underwater forests of resting giants. When they're ready to wake, a gentle movement of their tail flukes brings them back to the surface, and they resume their lives as active hunters of the deep. Far above the ocean's surface, in the endless expanse of sky, birds have solved the challenge of sleep in equally remarkable ways. For most birds, sleep comes with the setting sun as they settle into roosting places hidden among branches or tucked into protective cavities. But for some species, the need to travel vast distances across continents has led to one of nature's most impressive adaptations: the ability to sleep while flying. Frigate birds, those masters of oceanic flight with their distinctive forked tails and impressive wingspans, spend days or even weeks at sea without ever touching land. They ride ocean winds with such skill that they barely need to flap their wings, soaring effortlessly above the waves as they search for food. But how do they rest during these extended journeys? Researchers equipped frigate birds with tiny devices that could monitor their brain activity during flight, and what they discovered was extraordinary. These birds can indeed sleep while airborne, but not in the way we might expect. Like dolphins, they use unihemispheric sleep, resting one half of their brain, while the other half remains alert to control flight and navigation. Picture a frigate bird gliding through the warm evening air high above the Pacific Ocean. As the sun sets and paints the sky in shades of orange and pink, the bird begins to doze. One eye closes while the other remains open, scanning the horizon. The sleeping hemisphere of its brain enters slow-wave sleep, the same deep restorative sleep that we experience. Meanwhile, the wakeful hemisphere continues to process the sensations of flight, adjusting wing positions to catch the best air currents and maintaining the birds heading toward distant shores. What's most remarkable is how little these aerial travelers actually sleep during their ocean crossings. Frigate birds spend less than 3% of their flight time sleeping, staying awake and alert for more than 97% of their journey. They seem to understand that sleep makes them vulnerable, so they postpone most of their rest until they reach the safety of land. When frigate birds finally return to their nesting colonies after days at sea, they enter a period of sleep recovery that's almost as impressive as their aerial endurance. They spend nearly half their time sleeping once they're safely on land, making up for all the rest they sacrificed during their ocean voyage. Other migrating birds have developed different strategies for managing sleep during their incredible journeys. Many songbirds that migrate at night have been observed taking microsecond naps during flight, brief moments of rest that last only seconds. These power naps allow them to maintain their energy and alertness during flights that can span entire continents. Even more fascinating is how migrating birds completely reverse their normal sleep patterns during travel seasons. Birds that typically sleep at night and are active during the day will flip their schedules entirely during migration, staying awake through the night for navigation and taking short rest periods during the day. The precision required for sleeping while flying is almost impossible to comprehend. These birds must maintain their altitude, speed, and direction while part of their brain rests. They must avoid obstacles, respond to weather changes, and stay with their flocks, all while experiencing something comparable to our deepest sleep. It's a testament to millions of years of evolution and the incredible adaptability of life. In stark contrast to the constant vigilance of flying birds and swimming dolphins, some animals have embraced sleep as their primary activity. At the extreme end of this spectrum live the koalas of Australia, creatures that have turned sleeping into an art form. These marsupials spend up to 22 hours of each day in slumber, waking only for the essential activities of eating, grooming, and moving to new trees. The koala's extraordinary sleep schedule isn't laziness, but rather a sophisticated adaptation to their unique diet. Eucalyptus leaves, which make up almost their entire food source, are extremely low in nutrients and energy. The leaves are also toxic to most other animals, but koalas have evolved special digestive systems that can break down these challenging meals. However, this process requires enormous amounts of energy, leaving little left over for activity. Imagine watching a koala in the wild during one of its brief waking periods. It moves with deliberate slowness, carefully selecting eucalyptus leaves and chewing them thoroughly before returning to its favorite sleeping spot. Within hours, sometimes minutes, the koala will curl up in the fork of a tree branch, settle into a comfortable position, and slip back into its peaceful slumber. Koalas have evolved remarkable adaptations for sleeping safely in trees. Their hands and feet are perfectly designed for gripping branches, with two opposable thumbs on each front paw and sharp claws that lock around tree limbs. Even in deep sleep, a koala's grip remains secure, preventing dangerous falls from heights that could reach over 100 feet above the ground. The sleeping koala presents one of nature's most serene images. Curled into a ball of soft grey fur, with its large black nose tucked against its body, a sleeping koala embodies perfect contentment. Its breathing becomes slow and regular, and its face takes on an expression of absolute peace that's impossible to observe without feeling a sense of calm yourself. On the opposite end of the sleep spectrum from koalas, we find animals that have compressed their rest into remarkably brief periods. African elephants, those gentle giants of the savannah, sleep less than any other land mammal on Earth. In the wild, elephants average only about 2 hours of sleep per day, and they can go up to 46 hours without any sleep at all when circumstances demand it. This remarkable sleep pattern exists not because elephants don't need rest, but because their massive size creates unique challenges. An adult elephant weighs several tons and requires enormous amounts of food to sustain itself. They must spend up to 18 hours each day foraging, moving slowly across the landscape as they strip leaves from acacia trees, uproot grasses, and seek out water sources that may be miles apart. Scientists can tell when elephants are sleeping by watching their trunks. These incredible appendages, containing over 40,000 muscles, never stop moving when elephants are awake. The trunk constantly sways, explores, and communicates through touch with other herd members. But when an elephant finally succumbs to sleep, the trunk becomes still, resting against the ground like a dropped rope. Most elephants' sleep happens while standing, their massive legs locked in position to support their weight. But occasionally, when elephants feel completely safe, they will lie down on their sides for deeper rest. This vulnerable position is reserved for the most secure moments, often when the herd has found a protected area and matriarch elephants are standing guard. The sight of a sleeping elephant herd is one of the most moving experiences in the natural world. Young calves nestle close to their mothers, their small trunks curled beneath their bodies. Adult females position themselves in protective circles, while the massive bulls rest nearby, their ancient eyes closing only when absolute trust has been established with their surroundings. But perhaps no sleeping behavior is more charming than that of chin-strap penguins in the harsh Antarctic landscape. These small, hardy birds have developed one of the most unusual sleep patterns ever documented by science. Instead of sleeping for long stretches like most animals, chin-strap penguins take thousands of tiny naps throughout each day, each one lasting only about 4 seconds. Picture the rocky shores of Antarctica, where thousands of chin-strap penguins gather in noisy, bustling colonies. The constant cacophony of penguin calls, the crash of waves, and the howling polar winds would seem to make sleep impossible. Yet these remarkable birds have found a way to rest even in this chaotic environment. A chin-strap penguin will suddenly stop its activities, close its eyes for exactly 4 seconds, then snap back to alertness as if nothing happened. This microsleep pattern repeats over 11,000 times each day, adding up to several hours of total rest, while never leaving the penguin vulnerable to predators or losing track of its chicks in the crowded colony. The precision of these 4-second naps is astounding. The penguins seem to have internal alarm clocks that wake them at exactly the right moment, allowing them to function normally while getting the rest they need. This adaptation lets them survive in one of Earth's most challenging environments, where constant vigilance is essential for survival. Moving from the icy shores of Antarctica to the warm caves and hollow trees where bats make their homes, we encounter creatures that have mastered the art of sleeping upside down. These flying mammals spend up to 19 hours each day, hanging from cave ceilings, tree branches, or the rafters of old buildings, their wings wrapped around their bodies like living cloaks. The sight of sleeping bats creates an almost magical atmosphere in their roosting places. Hundreds, or sometimes thousands of small bodies hang in perfect rows, their delicate wing membranes folded precisely against their sides. The only sounds are the gentle whispers of their breathing and the occasional soft chirp as one stirs in its sleep. Bats have evolved remarkable adaptations that allow them to sleep safely in their inverted position. Their feet contain special tendons that automatically lock their claws around whatever they're gripping, requiring no conscious effort to maintain their hold. This locking mechanism is so effective that even after death, a bat will continue hanging in place, held secure by the natural design of its anatomy. But why do bats choose to sleep upside down? The answer lies in the physics of flight. Unlike birds, which can run along the ground to build up speed for takeoff, bats must drop into flight from their perches. Hanging upside down allows them to simply let go and fall into the air, immediately spreading their wings to catch the wind. This gives them a crucial advantage when escaping predators or responding to threats. The peaceful image of roosting bats contrasts sharply with their active nighttime lives. During the day, they exist in a state of profound calm. Their metabolism slowed to conserve energy for the night's hunt. Their body temperatures drop, their breathing becomes shallow and regular, and they enter a sleep so deep that they can be handled without waking. In tropical rainforests, another group of creatures has perfected upside-down living. Three-toed sloths spend virtually their entire lives hanging beneath tree branches, moving so slowly that algae grows in their fur, providing them with perfect camouflage among the leaves. These gentle creatures sleep up to 18 hours each day, often in exactly the same position they use for all other activities. A sleeping sloth presents one of nature's most serene images. Hanging peacefully beneath a cecropia tree, its long arms wrapped around a sturdy branch, the sloth's face wears an expression of eternal contentment. Its breathing is so slow and quiet that it's barely perceptible, and its movements are so minimal that it often appears more like a part of the tree than a living animal. Sloths have evolved internal adaptations that allow them to live their entire lives upside down without discomfort. Special fibrous connections anchor their abdominal organs against their ribs, preventing their internal organs from pressing against their lungs and making breathing difficult. These evolutionary coat hangers support the sloth's weight while maintaining all normal body functions in their inverted world. Perhaps most remarkably, pregnant sloths even give birth while hanging upside down, a feat that requires precise timing and incredible strength. The mother must catch her newborn as it emerges, then help it climb to the safety of her belly, where it will cling for the first months of its life. Deep beneath the ocean's surface, in a world of perpetual twilight, octopuses experience some of the most visually spectacular sleep in the animal kingdom. These intelligent invertebrates undergo dramatic transformations during their brief rest periods, their skin flickering through waves of color and pattern like living kaleidoscopes. When an octopus sleeps, its dreams appear to play out across its skin. The chromatophores, tiny cells containing different colored pigments, fire in seemingly random patterns, creating ripples of yellow, red, brown, and white that flow across the octopus's body like underwater aurora. Scientists believe these color changes might reflect the creature's dreams, offering a rare glimpse into the mind of one of the ocean's most mysterious inhabitants. An octopus spends only about 2 hours of each day sleeping, but those brief periods are divided into 2 distinct types of rest. Most of their sleep is quiet and still, with the octopus settled into a rocky crevice or coral formation, its skin a muted brown that blends perfectly with its surroundings. But periodically, this quiet slumber is interrupted by bursts of active sleep, when the color displays begin and the octopus's arms twitch and curl, as if responding to some unseen stimulus. The similarity between octopus active sleep and human REM sleep is striking. During these colorful interludes, the octopus's eyes move rapidly beneath closed lids, its breathing quickens, and its body shows all the signs of intense neural activity. Scientists speculate that octopuses might be dreaming, processing the day's experiences through the same kind of rapid eye movement sleep that produces our most vivid dreams. Watching an octopus sleep is like observing a living work of art. The patterns that flow across its skin often resemble the same displays it uses while hunting or communicating when awake. Stripes that normally help it blend with coral become dream sequences painted in living pigment. The geometric patterns it uses to startle prey transform into abstract art that speaks to neural processes we're only beginning to understand. In the tropical reefs where these octopuses make their homes, their sleeping displays create some of the ocean's most beautiful nighttime shows. A single reef might host dozens of dreaming octopuses, each one flickering with its own private light show in hidden crevices among the coral. The effect is magical, as if the reef itself is dreaming in color. High in the forest canopy, where morning mist clings to ancient branches and the first light filters through emerald leaves, birds have developed sleeping strategies that seem to defy the very laws of balance. Perched on branches that sway with every breeze, these feathered creatures sleep soundly through the night, without ever falling from their precarious roosts. The secret lies in an ingenious adaptation that occurs automatically when birds settle down for rest. As a bird places its weight on its feet, muscles in its legs force the tendons to tighten, creating a vice-like grip around whatever branch it's perched on. This involuntary locking mechanism means that the deeper the bird sleeps, the tighter its grip becomes, ensuring that it remains safely attached to its perch even during the deepest slumber. Most songbirds adopt a distinctive sleeping posture that maximizes both comfort and warmth. They turn their heads completely around, tucking their bills beneath the soft feathers of their shoulders. This position not only protects their most sensitive areas from cold night air, but also creates a compact shape that reduces heat loss. Their downed feathers fluff out to create an insulating air layer, turning each sleeping bird into a perfectly designed survival capsule. The forest at night becomes a three-dimensional dormitory, with sleeping birds occupying every level from the understory to the highest branches. Each species has its preferred sleeping height and location, creating a complex arrangement that minimizes competition and maximizes safety. Smaller songbirds cluster together in dense shrubs, while larger birds claim the more exposed but secure positions in the main canopy. During winter nights in northern forests, some birds take communal sleeping to remarkable extremes. Tiny wrens and chickadees gather in tree cavities or nest boxes, piling together in feathered masses that share body heat and increase everyone's chances of surviving bitter cold. These huddles can contain dozens of birds, their combined warmth creating microenvironments that remain comfortable even when outside temperatures drop far below freezing. The sight of these sleeping bird communities creates a profound sense of peace. As darkness settles over the forest and the last songs fade into silence, the trees become filled with small, still forms, each one trusting completely in its evolutionary adaptations and the safety of its chosen roost. Their breathing creates tiny clouds in the cold air, and their occasional sleepy chirps add gentle punctuation to the forest's nighttime symphony. In the vast savannas of Africa, where acacia trees dot endless grasslands and the horizon stretches beyond imagination, giraffes face unique challenges when it comes to finding rest. These gentle giants, the tallest mammals on Earth, have developed sleeping habits that reflect both their magnificent size and their constant vulnerability to predators. A giraffe's approach to sleep is one of careful calculation and brief surrender. Standing 18 feet tall with legs longer than most people are tall, giraffes cannot simply lie down anywhere. When they do choose to rest, the process itself is a slow, graceful ballet that can take several minutes to complete. First, the giraffe carefully surveys its surroundings, using its exceptional height and keen eyesight to scan for any signs of danger. Lions, leopards, and hyenas all pose threats to resting giraffes, so the location must be chosen with extreme care. Only when the giraffe feels completely secure will it begin the complex process of settling down for rest. The giraffe folds its front legs first, lowering its massive chest toward the ground in a controlled descent. Then, with remarkable grace for such a large animal, it curves its long neck back and rests its head on its own hindquarters, creating a living circle of spotted hide and peaceful expression. In this position, the giraffe achieves something approaching true relaxation, though always with one ear tuned to the sounds of the African night. Ned to the sounds of the African night. These brief periods of vulnerability are among the most precious in the giraffe's day. The massive heart that pumps blood up that incredible neck continues its steady rhythm, and the gentle giant's breathing becomes deep and regular. Young giraffes often sleep lying down for longer periods, their smaller size making them less vulnerable, and their energy needs greater. Adult females with calves will take turns resting, one always remaining alert while others sleep. The sight of a sleeping giraffe is both majestic and touching. This towering creature, capable of running at 35 miles per hour and defending itself with kicks powerful enough to kill a lion, becomes in sleep a picture of absolute trust and peace. The geometric patterns of its coat seem to flow like a living mosaic, and its impossibly long eyelashes flutter gently in the warm African breeze. But giraffes are not the only African giants who have developed remarkable sleeping adaptations. In the same savannas where giraffes browse the highest branches, hippopotamuses spend their days in an entirely different realm, creating one of nature's most unusual sleeping arrangements. Hippos are creatures of two worlds, equally at home on land and in water. But it's in the rivers and waterholes of Africa where they've perfected an extraordinary sleeping technique that allows them to rest while remaining completely submerged. These massive animals, which can weigh up to 4 tons, have evolved the ability to sleep underwater while automatically surfacing to breathe without ever fully waking up. Picture a muddy river in the late afternoon heat, where a group of hippos has gathered in the deeper pools. As the sun climbs higher and the African day grows hotter, the hippos sink deeper into the cooling water, until only their eyes, ears, and nostrils remain above the surface. But as their rest deepens, something magical happens. They disappear entirely beneath the water, their massive bodies settling onto the riverbed like living boulders. What happens next seems almost impossible. The sleeping hippos remain underwater for 3 to 5 minutes at a time before their bodies automatically rise to the surface. Their nostrils emerge just long enough for a quick breath, then they sink back down to continue their underwater slumber. This process repeats throughout their rest period, controlled entirely by unconscious reflexes that have been perfected over millions of years. The hippos never fully wake during these breathing episodes. Their eyes remain closed, their bodies completely relaxed, and they show no awareness of surfacing for air. It's as if they've become living submarines, programmed to maintain life while exploring the deepest possible states of rest. Young hippos learn this remarkable skill by watching their mothers, gradually developing the same automatic breathing patterns that will serve them throughout their lives. Watching hippos sleep underwater creates an almost dreamlike scene. These enormous forms rise and sink in slow motion, their movements as graceful as dancers despite their massive size. The water around them remains calm and undisturbed, broken only by the brief appearance of nostrils and the gentle ripples that mark each unconscious breath. In the coral reefs of tropical seas, where sunlight streams through crystal clear water and creates dancing patterns on white sand below, fish have developed their own unique approaches to nighttime rest. Many species undergo complete transformations as darkness falls, changing not only their behavior, but sometimes their appearance as they prepare for sleep. Parrotfish create some of the ocean's most ingenious sleeping arrangements. As evening approaches, these colorful reef dwellers begin secreting a transparent cocoon of mucus around their bodies. This protective bubble takes up to an hour to complete, but once finished, it provides the sleeping fish with a nearly perfect defense against predators. The mucus cocoon masks the parrotfish's scent, making it invisible to sharks and other hunters that rely on smell to locate prey in the darkness. Inside its protective bubble, the parrotfish settles into a crevice among the coral and enters a state of rest so deep that divers can approach within inches without disturbing it. The fish's brilliant blues, greens, and yellows fade to muted tones, and its breathing slows to barely perceptible movements of its gills. The mucus cocoon shimmers slightly in the water, looking like a soap bubble that contains a sleeping rainbow. Other reef fish have developed equally fascinating sleeping strategies. Wrasses bury themselves completely in the sand, diving headfirst into the soft bottom and wiggling until only their eyes remain visible. These small, energetic fish that spend their days darting among coral formations become completely still once buried, their bodies perfectly camouflaged against the sandy floor. Triggerfish use their powerful jaws to wedge themselves into coral crevices, then deploy their dorsal spines to lock themselves in place. Once secured, they become virtually impossible to remove, creating a natural fortress that protects them from any predator too large to follow them into their hiding spots. The sight of a sleeping triggerfish, perfectly wedged among colorful coral formations with its fins spread for maximum security, demonstrates the incredible ingenuity that evolution has produced in these underwater neighborhoods. Perhaps most charming of all are the cleaner fish that spend their days providing grooming services to larger reef inhabitants. When night falls, these busy workers gather in specific sleeping areas among the coral, clustering together in small groups for protection. Their tiny forms create living bouquets of silver and yellow among the reef's architecture, each one trusting completely in the security of numbers and the shelter of their coral home. The transformation that occurs across coral reefs at nightfall is like watching an entire city prepare for sleep. Daytime residents disappear into hiding places, while nocturnal species begin to emerge. The reef's soundtrack changes from the busy clicking and popping of daytime activity to the softer, more mysterious sounds of the night shift. Yet throughout this transition, the sleeping fish remain perfectly still, each one having found its ideal resting place in this underwater metropolis. In the frozen wilderness of the Arctic, where winter nights can last for months and temperatures drop far below what most life can endure, polar bears have developed a sleeping strategy that borders on the miraculous. These magnificent predators, perfectly adapted to one of Earth's harshest environments, enter a state of rest that allows them to survive when food becomes impossible to find. Pregnant polar bear mothers begin their extraordinary sleeping journey in the autumn when they dig dens deep into snowdrifts on land. These dens become more than just sleeping places. They transform into nurseries where one of nature's most remarkable birth processes occurs. The mother bear settles into her snow cave and enters a state similar to hibernation, though not as deep as that experienced by black bears in more temperate regions. During the long Arctic winter, as blizzards rage outside and temperatures plummet to deadly extremes, the mother polar bear sleeps through the birth of her cubs. These tiny babies, no larger than guinea pigs when born, are completely helpless and dependent on their sleeping mother's warmth and milk. The den becomes a perfect sanctuary, insulated by snow and warmed by the mother's massive body. What makes this even more remarkable is that polar bear mothers don't eat, drink, or leave their dens for 4 to 5 months. They survive entirely on their stored body fat while nursing their growing cubs. The mother's metabolism slows dramatically during this period, allowing her to conserve energy while her babies grow from helpless newborns into fluffy cubs ready to face the Arctic world. When spring finally arrives and the mother emerges from her den with her cubs, the sight is one of nature's most heartwarming spectacles. The cubs, now about the size of small dogs and covered in thick white fur, follow their mother as she teaches them the skills they'll need to survive in their icy kingdom. The months of sleep have prepared both mother and babies for the challenges that await them on the sea ice. Male polar bears and non-pregnant females experience a different kind of rest during the harshest winter months. They may enter temporary sleeping states when storms make hunting impossible, digging shallow beds in the snow where they curl up and let the blizzard pass over them. Their thick fur and layer of blubber provide such effective insulation that snow accumulating on their backs doesn't melt, creating perfect camouflage in the white landscape. In the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, where humidity hangs like a warm blanket and the canopy blocks most sunlight from reaching the forest floor, orangutans have created some of the most sophisticated sleeping arrangements in the animal kingdom. These intelligent great apes spend each evening constructing elaborate beds high in the treetops, engineering marvels that combine comfort, safety, and weather protection. An orangutan's approach to sleep begins hours before sunset. As the afternoon light begins to fade through the forest canopy, these remarkable primates start selecting the perfect location for their night's rest. The choice involves careful consideration of branch strength, height from the ground, protection from rain, and safety from predators. Each orangutan becomes an architect, surveying potential building sites with the expertise of a master craftsman. The bed construction process is a marvel to observe. The orangutan bends and weaves branches together, creating a platform strong enough to support its weight, while remaining flexible enough to sway gently with the wind. Smaller branches and leafy twigs are woven into the structure to create a soft mattress, while larger leaves are positioned to form a roof that will shed rain during tropical downpours. What makes orangutan beds even more impressive is that no two are ever identical. Each ape brings its own personal style to the construction, some preferring elaborate multi-level structures, while others opt for simple, efficient designs. Young orangutans learn this skill by watching their mothers, gradually developing their own preferences and techniques that they'll use throughout their lives. The finished bed becomes a sanctuary in the sky, positioned anywhere from 30 to 100 feet above the ground. As darkness settles over the jungle, the orangutan settles into its custom-built sleeping space, often pulling additional leaves over itself like a blanket. The gentle swaying of the tree becomes a natural cradle, and the sounds of the tropical night create a lullaby of chirping insects, calling birds, and rustling leaves. From the orangutan's elevated bedroom, the jungle takes on an entirely different character. The forest floor disappears into mysterious darkness, while the canopy becomes a highway for nocturnal creatures. Flying squirrels glide between trees, their silhouettes visible against the starlit sky, while fruit bats create soft whooshing sounds as they navigate between flowering trees. The sleeping orangutan remains safely above this nighttime activity, protected by height and the strength of its carefully constructed bed. Perhaps most touching is the sight of mother orangutans sharing their beds with their young. Baby orangutans sleep nestled against their mother's warm fur, learning through this close contact not only the comfort of safety, but also observing the bed-building techniques they'll need to master as they grow. These shared sleeping moments strengthen the incredible bond between orangutan mothers and their offspring, a relationship that can last for 7 or 8 years. In the vast grasslands of North America, where endless prairies stretch to distant horizons and wind creates waves in the tall grass, bison herds demonstrate one of nature's most impressive examples of communal sleeping strategy. These massive animals, which can weigh up to 2,000 pounds, have developed a sophisticated system of group rest that ensures the safety of every member while allowing for the deep sleep necessary to sustain their enormous bodies. As evening approaches across the prairie, bison herds begin a careful ritual of positioning that has been refined over thousands of years. The animals don't simply lie down wherever they happen to be. Instead, they arrange themselves in specific patterns that maximize protection and optimize rest for every individual. Adult bulls, the largest and most powerful members of the herd, position themselves around the perimeter, creating a living fortress that shields the more vulnerable females and calves. The sleeping arrangement resembles a carefully planned military encampment. Pregnant females and mothers with young calves settle in the center of the group, surrounded by layers of protection. Adolescent bison fill the middle ranks, while the massive bulls maintain their vigilant positions on the outside. This formation ensures that any predator attempting to reach the most vulnerable herd members would have to pass through multiple layers of fierce defenders. But bison's sleep strategy involves more than just positioning. The animals take turns resting, with some members of the herd always remaining alert and watchful. These sentinel bison stand quietly among their sleeping companions, their heads raised and ears constantly moving to catch any sound that might indicate danger. The responsibility of watching rotates throughout the night, ensuring that every animal gets adequate rest, while the herd's security is never compromised. When bison do lie down to sleep, the sight is both powerful and peaceful. These enormous animals, capable of running at 40 miles per hour and possessing the strength to overturn cars, become surprisingly gentle in repose. They fold their massive legs beneath their bodies and rest their great heads on the ground, their thick fur creating perfect insulation against the prairie's temperature extremes. The sounds of a sleeping bison herd create one of the Great Plains' most soothing nighttime symphonies. The deep, slow breathing of dozens of large animals mingles with the whisper of wind through grass and the distant calls of coyotes and owls. Occasionally, a sleeping bison will shift position with a soft grunt, or a calf will move closer to its mother's warmth. But otherwise, the herd rests in profound silence. Young bison calves, with their reddish-brown fur that contrasts sharply with their parents' dark coats, sleep pressed against their mother's sides. These babies, born in spring when the prairie comes alive with wildflowers, remain close to their mother's protection throughout their first year. Their sleeping positions reflect this dependency, with calves often lying across their mother's front legs, or nestled so closely that they appear to be part of the adult's body. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, where the air thrums with life and every square inch of space hosts multiple species, sloths have elevated the art of sleeping to an almost spiritual level. These remarkable creatures, moving through their treetop world at such a deliberate pace that they seem to exist in slow motion, dedicate the vast majority of their lives to rest and meditation-like stillness. Three-toed sloths in particular have achieved something approaching perfect harmony with their environment. They sleep so peacefully and remain so still that their fur becomes a garden, hosting algae that turns them green and provides excellent camouflage among the leaves. Moths, beetles, and other small creatures make their homes in the sloth's coat, creating a mobile ecosystem that travels slowly through the forest canopy. The sloth's sleeping position never changes. Whether resting or active, eating or moving, they maintain the same upside-down orientation, hanging from branches with their long, curved claws locked around sturdy limbs. This consistency means that sleep comes naturally, without the need for any position changes or adjustments that might reveal their location to predators. Watching a sloth sleep is like observing a living meditation. Their breathing becomes so slow and shallow that it's barely detectable. Their heart rate drops to an incredibly low level, and their body temperature decreases to conserve energy. They enter a state that seems to transcend ordinary sleep, becoming one with the tree that supports them and the forest that surrounds them. The sloth's face during sleep displays an expression of such profound contentment that it's impossible to observe without feeling a sense of peace yourself. Their perpetual smile, created by the natural curve of their mouth, seems to reflect an inner satisfaction with their simple, unhurried approach to life. Even their movements during sleep are graceful. The occasional shift of an arm or leg performed with the same deliberate care that characterizes all their activities. Mother sloths share this peaceful sleeping style with their babies, who cling to their mother's bellies for the first months of life. The young sloth learns the art of restful living by example, absorbing through constant contact the rhythms and patterns that will guide its own approach to sleep throughout its life. These babies often appear to be sleeping even when their mothers are active, demonstrating how completely they've adapted to their aerial lifestyle. In the crystal clear lakes of North America, where morning mist rises like spirits from still water, and the first light reveals a world of perfect tranquility, beavers have created sleeping arrangements that reflect their remarkable engineering abilities. These master builders, known for transforming entire landscapes with their dams and lodges, bring the same ingenuity to their rest that they apply to all aspects of their aquatic lives. The beaver lodge, that dome-shaped structure rising from the water like a natural castle, serves as both home and bedroom for entire beaver families. Inside this marvel of animal architecture, chambers above the waterline provide dry, warm sleeping spaces that remain comfortable regardless of outside weather conditions. The lodge's walls, constructed from mud, sticks, and stones, provide excellent insulation and create an environment where beavers can rest in complete security. Inside the lodge, beaver families arrange themselves in sleeping clusters that reinforce their strong social bonds. Parents sleep close to their kits, providing warmth and comfort throughout the night. The baby beavers, covered in dense waterproof fur from birth, nestle against their parents' sides in positions that maximize shared body heat. These family sleeping arrangements continue for nearly 2 years, as young beavers learn the complex skills they'll need to survive and eventually build their own lodges. The underwater entrance to the beaver lodge means that predators cannot easily reach the sleeping chamber. This security allows beavers to sleep deeply, their bodies completely relaxed and their breathing slow and regular. The sound of water gently lapping against the lodge's walls creates a natural lullaby, while the thick walls muffle outside noises that might otherwise disturb their rest. During winter, when ice covers the lake and snow blankets the landscape, the beaver lodge becomes an even more remarkable sanctuary. The family remains warm and comfortable inside their insulated chamber, while the world outside freezes. Their sleeping quarters stay above freezing, due to the excellent insulation and the heat generated by their own bodies, creating a cozy refuge that allows them to wait comfortably for spring's return. As our gentle journey through the sleeping world of animals draws toward its peaceful conclusion, we find ourselves filled with wonder at the extraordinary adaptations that life has created, From the dolphins sleeping with half their minds alert to the penguins catching 4-second naps in Antarctica's chaos, each creature has found its own perfect solution to the universal need for rest. These remarkable stories remind us that sleep is far more than a simple necessity. It's a canvas upon which millions of years of evolution have painted some of the most beautiful and ingenious solutions to life's challenges. Each adaptation tells a story of survival, creativity, and the endless capacity of life to find harmony even in the most unlikely circumstances. In the vast wetlands of North America, where cattails sway in gentle breezes and the air shimmers with the wings of countless insects, a very different kind of sleep story unfolds. Here, painted turtles have mastered one of nature's most extreme survival techniques, transforming themselves into living ice sculptures that somehow retain the spark of life through months of frozen stillness. As autumn's final warmth fades and winter's grip tightens across the northern lakes, painted turtles begin their descent into a sleep so deep it resembles death itself. These hardy reptiles, their shells marked with the brilliant reds and yellows that give them their name, settle into the muddy bottoms of ponds and lakes as ice begins to form overhead. What happens next defies everything we think we know about life's requirements. As the water temperature drops toward freezing, the turtle's metabolism slows to an almost imperceptible crawl. Its heartbeat becomes so faint that it's barely detectable, sometimes stopping entirely for minutes at a time, before resuming with a single, slow pulse. The turtle's breathing ceases completely, its lungs empty and still. Most remarkably, the painted turtle allows its body to partially freeze. Ice crystals form in its blood and tissues, creating a state that would kill most other creatures instantly. Yet somehow, through biochemical processes we're only beginning to understand, the turtle survives. Special proteins in its blood act like natural antifreeze, preventing the ice crystals from growing large enough to damage vital organs. For 4 to 5 months, these turtles remain in this death-like state beneath the ice. They don't eat, they don't breathe, and they show no signs of life beyond the faintest electrical activity in their brains. Snow accumulates above the frozen lake surface, while the turtles wait in perfect stillness below, their bodies more ice than flesh, yet somehow still alive. The transformation back to active life is equally miraculous. As spring warmth penetrates the ice and temperatures begin to rise, the frozen turtles slowly return to the world of the living. Their hearts begin beating more regularly, their blood starts flowing again, and ice crystals in their tissues gradually melt away. Within hours of the ice breaking up, these resurrection survivors swim to the surface, appearing no worse for their months of frozen sleep. Watching a painted turtle emerge from its winter slumber is like witnessing a small miracle. The creature that seemed frozen solid just hours before now basks on a sun-warmed log, its eyes bright and alert, showing no signs of the extraordinary ordeal it has just survived. It's a reminder that life's boundaries are far more flexible than we ever imagined. In the warm coastal waters of the Pacific, where kelp forests sway like underwater cathedrals and sunlight filters through the canopy in golden streams, sea otters have developed perhaps the most endearing sleeping behavior in the entire marine world. These playful mammals, with their whiskered faces and perpetually curious expressions, have turned floating into an art form that combines practicality with pure charm. As evening settles over the kelp beds, sea otters begin their nightly ritual of preparing for sleep. Unlike seals or dolphins, which must return to shore or swim continuously, sea otters have evolved to rest while floating on their backs at the ocean's surface. Their dense fur, containing over 1 million hairs per square inch, traps enough air to provide perfect buoyancy, turning each otter into a living life jacket. But the most heart-melting aspect of sea otter sleep comes from their tendency to hold hands while resting. Groups of otters will link their paws together, creating floating chains that prevent them from drifting apart during the night. These otter-holding circles, called rafts, can contain dozens of individuals, all floating peacefully together on the gentle swells. Picture a calm evening in Monterey Bay, where a raft of sea otters has gathered in the shelter of a kelp bed. As the sun sets behind the coastal mountains, painting the water in shades of gold and pink, the otters begin to settle for the night. One by one, they reach out with their front paws, grasping the paws of their neighbors until the entire group is connected in an unbroken chain of trust. The sight of sleeping sea otters is pure magic. Each animal floats with its paws folded across its chest when not holding hands with neighbors. Their faces turn skyward in expressions of absolute contentment. Their whiskers twitch occasionally as they dream, and their breathing creates tiny ripples that catch the moonlight like scattered diamonds. Baby sea otters add another layer of tenderness to this already charming scene. Mothers often place their pups on their chests while sleeping, using their own bodies as living rafts for their young. The baby otters, covered in fluffy grey fur that makes them look like floating stuffed animals, sleep peacefully on their mothers' bellies, while the gentle motion of the waves rocks them like a cradle. The kelp forest provides perfect protection for these floating dormitories. The thick kelp fronds break up wave action, creating calm pockets of water where the otters can rest undisturbed. The forest also hides them from predators like great white sharks, which prefer the open ocean to the tangled underwater gardens where otters make their homes. Throughout the night, the otter raft drifts slowly with the currents, but the animals remain together through their interlocked paws. Occasionally, one otter will wake briefly to groom its fur or adjust its position, but these movements are gentle and don't disturb the peaceful chain of sleeping companions. As dawn breaks over the Pacific and the kelp forest comes alive with the activity of a new day, the otters gradually wake and release their hold on each other. They stretch their arms above their heads in adorable yawns, then begin their morning routines of grooming and foraging. But for 8 hours through the night, they've demonstrated one of nature's sweetest examples of community and cooperation in sleep. Deep in the heart of the Australian outback, where red earth stretches endlessly under vast blue skies, and the silence is so complete you can hear your own heartbeat, echidnas have developed one of the most unusual sleeping strategies in the mammal world. These spiny anteaters, looking like living pincushions with their covering of sharp quills, enter a state of rest so profound that they seem to disappear from the world entirely. Echidnas are among the few mammals capable of true hibernation, but their version of this extended sleep is uniquely adapted to the harsh Australian environment. Unlike bears, which hibernate to escape cold winters, echidnas use their deep sleep to survive the scorching heat and drought of the outback summer, when food becomes scarce and temperatures soar beyond what most life can endure. As the Australian summer reaches its peak intensity, echidnas begin their search for the perfect sleeping spot. They use their powerful claws to dig burrows deep into the red earth, creating underground chambers that remain cool even when surface temperatures exceed 40 degrees Celsius. These burrows, often hidden beneath large rocks or in the shade of desert shrubs, become sanctuaries where echidnas can wait out the harshest months of the year. The echidna's descent into hibernation is a gradual process that can take several days. Its body temperature begins to drop slowly, eventually reaching the same temperature as the surrounding soil. Its heart rate decreases from a normal 60 beats per minute to just 4 or 5 beats, so slow that the pauses between heartbeats can last nearly 15 seconds. Perhaps most remarkably, the echidna's brain activity changes completely during hibernation. Scientists have discovered that these sleeping echidnas show no signs of REM sleep, the stage associated with dreaming in most other mammals. Instead, their brains enter a state unlike anything else documented in the animal kingdom, a deep quiet that allows them to survive for months without food or water. An echidna in hibernation becomes almost indistinguishable from the earth around it. Its spines blend with the shadows of its burrow, and its breathing becomes so shallow that it's virtually undetectable. The animal's metabolism slows to such an extent that it burns only tiny amounts of stored fat, allowing it to survive the entire summer on the energy reserves it built up during the cooler months. When the intense heat finally breaks and the first rains of autumn begin to fall, echidnas slowly emerge from their underground retreats. The awakening process can take several days as their body temperature gradually rises and their heart rate returns to normal. But once fully alert, they appear unchanged by their months of sleep, ready to begin foraging again in the cooler, more hospitable conditions. In the misty forests of the Pacific Northwest, where ancient trees tower like green cathedrals and every surface is carpeted with soft moss, black bears prepare for winter sleep in ways that blur the line between hibernation and the deepest possible rest. These magnificent creatures, with their glossy fur and intelligent eyes, create some of nature's most cozy and secure sleeping arrangements. As autumn arrives and the forest bursts with the reds and golds of changing leaves, black bears begin an intensive period of preparation for their long winter sleep. They must double their body weight during these final active months, gorging on salmon, berries, and nuts to build the fat reserves that will sustain them through the cold season. The bears become eating machines, consuming up to 20,000 calories per day in their race against winter. The den site selection process reveals the remarkable intelligence of these forest dwellers. Black bears don't simply find any available cave or hollow log. They carefully evaluate potential sleeping spots based on drainage, insulation, security, and protection from the elements. Some bears dig extensive burrows under tree roots, while others find natural caves or hollow trees that provide ready-made bedrooms. The most touching dens are those prepared by pregnant females, who must create nurseries as well as sleeping quarters. These expectant mothers line their chosen spaces with soft materials, gathering moss, leaves, and even their own shed fur to create mattresses fit for the tiny cubs that will be born during their winter sleep. The preparation can take weeks, with the mother bear making trip after trip to collect bedding materials. Once inside their dens, black bears enter a state that scientists call torpor rather than true hibernation. Their body temperature drops only slightly, and they remain capable of waking if disturbed. This lighter form of winter sleep allows mother bears to give birth to their cubs and nurse them throughout the winter, all while maintaining the deep rest that conserves their energy reserves. The miracle of bear birth during winter sleep is one of nature's most extraordinary events. Tiny cubs, no larger than hamsters when born, are delivered while their mother continues sleeping. The babies instinctively crawl through their mother's fur to find her warm belly and begin nursing, all without fully waking their sleeping parent. The mother's body continues producing rich milk even while she sleeps, nourishing her growing cubs through the coldest months. Inside the den, the bear family creates a pocket of warmth and life in the midst of winter's harsh conditions. The mother's breathing and heartbeat provide a constant, comforting rhythm, while her massive body maintains a temperature that keeps the den cozy even when snow piles deep outside. The cubs grow rapidly in this perfect nursery. doubling and tripling in size while remaining safely protected from the world beyond their woodland bedroom. When spring finally arrives and the snow begins to melt, revealing the first green shoots of new vegetation, the bear family emerges from their den like characters awakening from a beautiful dream. The cubs, now the size of small dogs and covered in fluffy black fur, take their first steps into the outside world under their mother's watchful protection. High in the canopy of Madagascar's rainforests, where lemurs call to each other through the misty dawn and exotic flowers bloom in impossible colors, a very different sleeping story unfolds among creatures that seem to have stepped from the pages of a fairy tale. Madagascar's forests host an incredible diversity of sleeping strategies, each one perfectly adapted to life in this island paradise that has been separated from the mainland for millions of years. The mouse lemurs, tiny primates with enormous eyes and delicate hands, have developed one of the most energy-efficient sleeping systems in the primate world. During Madagascar's dry season, when food becomes scarce and temperatures can fluctuate dramatically, these miniature lemurs enter a state called torpor that allows them to survive on minimal resources. As evening approaches in the dry forest, mouse lemurs begin gathering in small groups within tree hollows or dense vegetation. These sleeping clusters, which can contain up to 15 individuals, create warm, secure environments where the lemurs can conserve energy throughout the cool night. Their body temperatures drop significantly during torpor, sometimes by as much as 20 degrees, dramatically reducing their metabolic needs. The sight of sleeping mouse lemurs is enchanting beyond description. These tiny creatures, weighing no more than a small bird, curl up together in furry balls of grey and brown, their enormous eyes closed and their long tails wrapped around their bodies like living scarves. Their breathing becomes so slow and quiet that they appear more like sleeping dolls than living animals. During the deepest phases of torpor, mouse lemurs can remain motionless for hours at a time. Their heartbeats slow to just a few beats per minute, and their brain activity decreases to levels that would be dangerous in most other mammals. Yet, they maintain just enough awareness to detect danger, capable of awakening instantly if threatened by predators like fossas or owls. The energy savings achieved through this remarkable sleeping strategy are extraordinary. A mouse lemur in torpor uses only 1/10 the energy it would require while fully active, allowing these tiny primates to survive extended periods when their favorite foods are unavailable. Some individuals can remain in torpor for several days at a time, emerging only when conditions become more favorable. Larger lemur species have developed their own unique sleeping adaptations. Ring-tailed lemurs, with their distinctive black and white striped tails and expressive faces, sleep in what scientists call lemur balls. These social groups huddle together in tight clusters, with each individual's body providing warmth for its neighbors. The lemurs arrange themselves so precisely that the entire group forms an almost perfect sphere of fur and limbs. The formation of a lemur ball is a carefully choreographed process that begins as shadows lengthen across the forest. The troop's dominant females choose the sleeping site, usually a large tree with multiple branches that can accommodate the entire group. One by one, the lemurs settle into position, with the youngest and most vulnerable individuals securing spots in the center where they'll be warmest and most protected. As the lemur ball takes shape, it becomes a marvel of natural engineering. Each animal's position is precisely calculated to maximize shared warmth, while ensuring that everyone has enough space to breathe comfortably. Tails are wrapped around neighbors, arms embrace adjacent bodies, and heads find comfortable resting spots on the backs and sides of companions. the sleeping lemur ball creates one of the most heartwarming sights in all of nature. This sphere of contentment, with occasional fingers or tails protruding from the mass, represents the ultimate expression of trust and cooperation. The lemur's faces, visible here and there among the tangle of limbs, display expressions of perfect peace and security. Throughout the night, the lemur ball shifts and adjusts as individuals change position or wake briefly to check their surroundings. But the basic structure remains intact, providing constant warmth and comfort for every member of the group. Young lemurs, safely nestled in the center of the ball, sleep with the deep, untroubled rest that comes from absolute security. In the frozen wilderness of Antarctica, where the wind never stops howling and temperatures can drop to 70 degrees below zero, emperor penguins have developed perhaps the most heroic sleeping strategy in the entire animal kingdom. These magnificent birds, standing 4 feet tall and dressed in nature's most elegant formal wear, survive the planet's harshest winter through a combination of endurance, cooperation, and the most extreme sleeping conditions imaginable. The emperor penguin's sleeping challenge begins with one of the most demanding migrations in the bird world. These penguins must walk up to 70 miles across the Antarctic ice to reach their breeding colonies, traveling through blizzards and over treacherous terrain that would challenge even the most experienced polar explorers. Upon reaching their destination, they face months of winter darkness, where the sun never rises and temperatures rarely climb above -20 degrees Fahrenheit. But the real test comes for the male emperors, who must incubate their precious eggs through the Antarctic winter, while their mates return to the ocean to feed. These devoted fathers balance the eggs on their feet, covering them with warm brood pouches, and then must survive for over 60 days without eating, while protecting their unhatched chicks from the brutal conditions. The sleeping strategy that allows emperor penguins to survive this ordeal is one of nature's most remarkable examples of cooperation and sacrifice. The penguins form huge huddles that can contain thousands of birds, creating living fortresses against the Antarctic wind. These huddles are constantly shifting, with birds on the cold exterior gradually moving toward the warmer center, while those who have been warmed move outward to take their turn facing the elements. Within the huddle, sleeping emperor penguins create a microclimate that can be 40 degrees warmer than the surrounding air. The birds sleep standing up, their eggs or chicks protected between their feet and warm brood pouches, their heads tucked down against their bodies, and they press tightly against their neighbors to minimize heat loss. The collective breathing of thousands of birds creates clouds of vapor that rise from the huddle like smoke from a warming fire. The sight of a sleeping emperor penguin huddle is both beautiful and humbling. These elegant birds, their black and white plumage creating striking patterns against the white ice, demonstrate a level of cooperation and endurance that puts human achievements to shame. They stand motionless for hours at a time, conserving energy while protecting their most precious possessions in conditions that would kill most other life forms within minutes. Young emperor chicks add another dimension of tenderness to these harsh sleeping conditions. The babies, covered in fluffy grey down that makes them look like living teddy bears, sleep nestled against their parents' warm bodies. Their soft peeping calls occasionally break the silence of the huddle, creating moments of gentle communication that remind us that even in the world's most extreme environment, family bonds and care continue to flourish. The rotating movement of the huddle never stops throughout the long Antarctic night. Birds that have warmed themselves in the center gradually work their way to the edge, while those who have endured the cold exterior slowly spiral inward toward warmth. This constant circulation ensures that no individual bears the full burden of the cold, and every penguin gets the chance to warm up before facing the elements again. As we near the end of our gentle journey through the sleeping world of animals, We find ourselves in the warm, shallow lagoons of the Caribbean, where one of the ocean's most ancient and mysterious creatures demonstrates a sleeping behavior that challenges everything we thought we knew about rest and consciousness. Here, in water so clear it seems like liquid crystal, Caribbean reef sharks exhibit a phenomenon that has puzzled scientists and captured imaginations for decades. Unlike their relatives who must swim continuously to breathe, Caribbean reef sharks have discovered underwater caves and crevices where they can rest motionless while still receiving the oxygen they need. These sleeping sharks gather in specific locations, often returning to the same resting spots night after night like underwater bedrooms they've claimed as their own. The sight of sleeping sharks creates an almost dreamlike underwater scene. These powerful predators, perfectly designed for motion and hunting, become as still as sculptures in their chosen resting places. Their muscular bodies remain motionless except for the gentle movement of their gills as they breathe, and their eyes, though open, seem to look inward towards some peaceful inner world we can only imagine. What makes this behavior even more remarkable is the social aspect of shark sleep. These normally solitary hunters often gather in groups to rest, creating underwater congregations where dozens of sharks may sleep peacefully side by side. The caves and crevices they choose provide protection from currents and predators, allowing these apex predators to experience their own version of vulnerability and trust. Watching sleeping sharks requires the patience and respect of a meditation practice. Divers who are fortunate enough to encounter these resting giants must move with extreme care, understanding that they are witnessing one of the ocean's most private moments. The sleeping sharks seem almost otherworldly in their stillness, their powerful forms softened by the gentle motion of the water around them. Young nurse sharks, with their more docile temperament, often create some of the ocean's most peaceful sleeping scenes. These smaller sharks pile together in sandy hollows or beneath coral ledges, their spotted bodies overlapping like living puzzle pieces. Their breathing creates gentle currents that stir the sand around them, and their occasional movements are so subtle, they seem more like the swaying of seagrass than the motions of living predators. The mystery of shark sleep continues to intrigue scientists and observers alike. How do these ancient creatures, whose lineage stretches back over 400 million years, experience rest? Do they dream as they float in their underwater sanctuaries? The peaceful expressions on their faces suggest an inner calm that transcends our human understanding of sleep and consciousness. As dawn approaches in the lagoon and the first rays of sunlight penetrate the clear water, the sleeping sharks begin to stir. Their movements are gradual and graceful, like dancers slowly awakening from a beautiful dream. One by one, they glide from their resting places and return to the active life of the reef. But for 8 hours through the night, they have shown us that even the ocean's most feared predators need their moments of peace and rest. Our journey through the sleeping world of animals has taken us from the deepest ocean trenches to the highest mountain peaks, from frozen polar landscapes to tropical rainforest canopies. Along the way, we've discovered that sleep is far more than just a biological necessity. It's a window into the incredible creativity and adaptability of life itself. Every creature we've encountered has found its own perfect solution to the challenge of rest. Some sleep while swimming through endless oceans, others while hanging upside down from cave ceilings. Some create elaborate beds in treetops, while others simply curl up together for warmth and safety. Each adaptation tells a story of millions of years of refinement, of life constantly finding new ways to thrive in every corner of our planet. Perhaps most remarkable of all is how these sleeping strategies reveal the deep connections that link all living things. The dolphin sleeping with half its brain alert, the penguin taking 4-second naps in Antarctica's chaos, the elephant managing on just 2 hours of rest each night, all demonstrate that life's solutions are as diverse as life itself. Yet underlying this diversity is a shared need that connects the tiniest hummingbird to the largest whale. The universal requirement for rest, recovery, and dreams. As you prepare for your own journey into sleep tonight, carry with you the images we've shared. Picture the sea otters holding hands as they float on moonlit waters, the beavers nestled safely in their engineered lodges, the lemurs curled together in their perfect sleeping balls. Remember that across our planet, millions of creatures are finding their own ways to rest, each one adding its peaceful presence to the great symphony of sleeping life. The natural world never truly sleeps, yet it's always finding moments of perfect rest. In every forest and field, every ocean and desert, every cave and treetop, animals are demonstrating that sleep is not an escape from life, but one of its most essential and beautiful expressions. Their stories remind us that rest is not just recovery, but renewal, not just necessity, but art. So as you close your eyes and let sleep carry you away, know that you're joining an ancient tradition that connects you to every living thing that has ever found peace in slumber. From the smallest mouse curled in its nest to the greatest whale breathing slowly in ocean depths, we all share this most fundamental and mysterious of experiences. Sleep well and dream of the countless creatures around our world who are, at this very moment, finding their own perfect ways to rest. Their peaceful presence surrounds us always, a reminder that in a universe of constant motion and change, there are still moments of absolute tranquility waiting for anyone wise enough to embrace them. Sweet dreams, and thank you for joining me on this gentle journey through the sleeping wonders of our world. In the vast expanses of the African savanna, where golden grass waves like an ocean under endless skies, meerkats have developed a sleeping system that turns their entire community into a living security network. These small sentinels, no bigger than house cats, but infinitely more vigilant, transform their underground burrows into some of nature's most sophisticated dormitories. As the sun begins its descent toward the horizon, painting the savanna in warm amber light, meerkat families begin their evening ritual. The entrance to their burrow system becomes a bustling hub of activity as dozens of individuals return from their day of foraging. But this isn't simply a retreat to safety. It's the beginning of an intricate choreography that ensures every member of the colony will sleep securely through the night. The burrow itself is a masterpiece of underground architecture, extending deep into the earth with multiple chambers, escape routes, and sleeping quarters. Some tunnels stretch for hundreds of meters, creating a subterranean city that can house entire extended families. The sleeping chambers are positioned at specific depths where temperature remains constant and the risk of flooding is minimal. But what makes meerkat sleep truly extraordinary is their rotation system of night guards. Even as most of the colony settles into rest, designated sentries position themselves at burrow entrances and elevated lookout points. These guards remain alert throughout the night, their keen eyes scanning for the shadows of nocturnal predators like caracoles, servals, and owls that hunt in darkness. The sleeping meerkats arrange themselves in what can only be described as furry puzzle pieces, each individual fitting perfectly against its neighbors. Young pups nestle between adults, their tiny bodies absorbing warmth from the larger meerkats around them. The dominant pair, the alpha male and female, often sleep in the center of the group, surrounded by layers of protection that reflect their importance to the colony's survival. Throughout the night, the guard duty rotates seamlessly. A sleeping meerkat will wake naturally after several hours and quietly take over watch duties. allowing the previous guard to finally rest. This system ensures that fresh, alert sentries are always on duty and that every member of the colony gets adequate sleep while maintaining perfect security. The sounds within a sleeping meerkat burrow create their own gentle lullaby. Soft breathing mingles with the occasional contented chirp from a dreaming pup, while the subtle movements of shifting bodies create whispers that speak of absolute trust and safety. Above ground, the guard meerkats add their own quiet presence to the night, standing motionless as living statues against the star-filled African sky. When dawn arrives and the first light touches the savannah, the sleeping colony awakens with remarkable coordination. The night guards give soft calls that ripple through the burrow system, gently rousing the sleepers. One by one, meerkats emerge into the morning light, their fur still warm from their underground sanctuary, ready to begin another day of cooperative survival in their challenging but beautiful homeland. Far from the African plains, in the pristine mountain lakes of North America, where the water runs so clear you can see straight to the rocky bottom, beavers create sleeping arrangements that showcase their legendary engineering skills. These industrious rodents don't simply build dams and lodges. They construct entire bedroom suites that would impress even the most demanding architect. The beaver lodge, that distinctive dome rising from still water like a natural cathedral, conceals one of nature's most ingenious sleeping chambers. Above the waterline, hidden within walls of mud, sticks, and stones, lies a spacious room that remains dry and warm regardless of the weather outside. The entrance to this chamber comes from below, through underwater tunnels that provide both security and year-round access. Inside their lodge, beaver families create sleeping arrangements that reflect their strong social bonds and practical needs. The chamber is lined with soft materials, wood shavings, dried grass, and moss that the beavers collect specifically for bedding. This natural mattress provides insulation from the cold and comfort for bodies that spend their days working in frigid water. Beaver parents sleep with their kits nestled close against their dense, waterproof fur. These baby beavers, called kits, remain dependent on their parents for nearly 2 years, learning not only the complex skills of dam building, but also the family sleeping traditions that will serve them throughout their lives. The warmth shared between family members helps maintain the lodge's comfortable temperature, even during the harshest winter nights. The lodge's design creates perfect acoustics for family communication. Soft purring sounds from sleeping beavers resonate gently through the chamber, while the subtle movements of family members create a constant awareness of each other's presence. Young kits often make tiny squeaking noises in their sleep, sounds that seem to comfort the adult beavers and reinforce the family's emotional connections. During winter, when ice locks the lake's surface and snow covers the landscape, the beaver lodge becomes an even more remarkable sanctuary. The family remains snug and warm inside their insulated chamber while the world outside freezes. Their underwater food cache, carefully prepared during autumn, provides nourishment without requiring them to leave their cozy bedroom. The lodge's walls, frozen solid by winter cold, become virtually impenetrable fortresses that protect the sleeping family from any predator brave enough to venture onto the ice. As spring arrives and ice begins to break up on the lake, the beaver family awakens to a world transformed. Their sleeping chamber, which has sheltered them through months of winter, remains their secure base as they venture out to begin another season of building, maintaining their dam, and raising their young. In the steaming hot springs of Yellowstone National Park, where geothermal features create an otherworldly landscape of bubbling mud and shooting geysers, a very different sleeping story unfolds. Here, in pools that would be lethally hot to most life forms, Certain species of extremophile bacteria have developed sleeping states that challenge our understanding of life's limits. These microscopic marvels, invisible to the naked eye but present in billions within each hot spring, enter dormant states during periods when conditions become too extreme, even for their extraordinary tolerances. When water temperatures spike beyond their maximum threshold, or when mineral concentrations shift dramatically, these bacteria essentially pause their lives, waiting for better conditions to return. The sleeping bacteria create communities that stretch like invisible blankets across the floors of hot springs. Though we cannot see them individually, their collective presence colors the water in brilliant hues of orange, yellow, and green. These living rainbows shift and change as bacterial populations wake and sleep in response to the constantly changing conditions of their geothermal world. What makes bacterial sleep remarkable is its precision. These organisms can detect tiny changes in their environment and respond instantly by entering or leaving dormancy. When a geyser erupts nearby and temporarily raises water temperature, millions of bacteria simultaneously enter protective sleep states. When conditions stabilize, they awaken together, resuming their ancient processes of life in one of Earth's most extreme environments. Scientists studying these bacterial communities have discovered that their sleep patterns follow complex rhythms tied to geothermal cycles. Some bacteria sleep during the day when solar heating adds to already high water temperatures, while others rest at night when mineral concentrations peak. This temporal organization creates waves of activity and rest that ripple through the hot spring communities like invisible tides. The beauty of bacterial sleep lies not in what we can see, but in what we can imagine. These microscopic pioneers, descendants of Earth's earliest life forms, continue their ancient dance of survival in conditions that mirror our planet's primordial state. Their sleeping and waking cycles represent an unbroken chain of life that stretches back billions of years to the very dawn of existence. Though we may never witness bacterial sleep directly, its effects surround us in the spectacular colors and formations of Yellowstone's thermal features. Every brilliant orange mat and emerald pool tells the story of countless microscopic lives finding rest in the most unlikely places, proving that even in Earth's most extreme environments, the need for sleep persists as one of life's fundamental requirements. Deep in the Amazon basin, where the river runs like a brown ribbon through endless green, and the air itself seems alive with moisture and sound, pink dolphins have evolved sleeping behaviors that seem almost magical in their strangeness. These remarkable cetaceans, with their distinctive rosy coloration and unusually flexible necks, navigate the murky waters of the world's largest river system, while managing sleep in ways that set them apart from their ocean-dwelling cousins. Amazon pink dolphins face unique challenges that ocean dolphins never encounter. The river's muddy water makes echolocation more difficult, while fallen trees, shifting sandbars, and seasonal flooding create an ever-changing underwater landscape. During the dry season, dolphins may find themselves trapped in isolated pools, while flood season opens vast underwater forests where they can swim among the treetops. These extraordinary circumstances have shaped equally extraordinary sleeping adaptations. Pink dolphins often sleep while remaining completely motionless in areas where the current is gentle, allowing the water flow to provide the movement needed for breathing. They position themselves in quiet backwaters or behind fallen logs, using the river's natural features as shields from stronger currents that might carry them away while they rest. But perhaps most remarkable is how pink dolphins adapt their sleep to the river's dramatic seasonal changes. During flood season, when the Amazon spreads across vast areas of forest, sleeping dolphins can be found resting among submerged tree branches, their pink forms barely visible in the dappled light filtering through the flooded canopy. They use the underwater forest as a three-dimensional sleeping environment, positioning themselves at different levels depending on current, temperature, and safety considerations. The social aspects of pink dolphin sleep add another layer of complexity to their river adaptations. These dolphins often sleep in small groups, with individuals taking turns maintaining awareness, while others rest more deeply. In the confined spaces of dry season pools, this cooperation becomes essential as dolphins must coordinate their movements to avoid disturbing sleeping companions. Young pink dolphins learn these river sleeping skills through careful observation of their mothers. A mother dolphin will position her calf in the safest part of their chosen resting area, often between her own body and a protective riverbank or fallen tree. The baby learns to read water conditions, identify safe sleeping spots, and understand the subtle social cues that coordinate group rest in the challenging river environment. The sight of sleeping pink dolphins in their Amazonian home creates images of almost mythical beauty. Their rosy forms drift like living dreams through water that reflects the green canopy above, while the sounds of the rainforest provide a symphony of bird calls, insect choruses, and the gentle splash of water against hidden shores. In this primeval setting, the dolphin's sleep becomes part of the river's own rhythm, as natural and essential as the flow of water toward the distant sea. In the crystal caves of Mexico, where limestone formations create underground cathedrals of stunning beauty, blind cave fish have developed sleeping patterns perfectly adapted to a world without light. These remarkable creatures, having lost their eyesight over millions of years of cave evolution, experience sleep in ways that challenge our understanding of rest in environments where day and night have no meaning. The perpetual darkness of cave systems might seem to make sleep unnecessary, but blind cave fish have maintained distinct rest periods that follow internal rhythms rather than external light cues. Their sleep cycles are governed by biological clocks that tick independently of the sun, creating patterns that remain consistent regardless of the eternal night that surrounds them. These pale, ghostly fish often gather in specific areas of the cave system for rest, choosing locations where water movement is minimal and the risk of being swept away by underground currents is reduced. They position themselves in small crevices or behind rock formations, using their heightened senses of touch and water movement to find the perfect sleeping spots. What makes cave fish sleep particularly fascinating is how it differs from that of their surface-dwelling relatives. Without the need to watch for predators that hunt by sight, these fish can enter deeper states of rest than would be safe in the sunlit world above. Their sleep becomes more profound and extended, allowing for recovery processes that surface fish must accomplish in shorter, more vigilant rest periods. The sensory world of sleeping cave fish operates entirely through touch, water movement, and chemical detection. Even while resting, they remain aware of the subtle vibrations that indicate the presence of food, other fish, or changes in their underground environment. Their lateral line systems, which detect water movement, remain active during sleep, providing a constant awareness of their surroundings that replaces the vision their ancestors once relied upon. In some cave systems, different species of blind fish have developed synchronized sleeping patterns, creating underground communities where rest periods align across species. This coordination may help reduce competition for the best sleeping spots while ensuring that the cave's delicate ecosystem maintains its balance even during periods of reduced activity. The caves themselves contribute to the peaceful quality of fish sleep. The constant temperature and humidity create stable conditions that never change with seasons or weather. The gentle flow of underground streams provides white noise that masks any disturbances, while the complete absence of light creates an environment of perfect tranquility that would be impossible to achieve in the surface world. Watching sleeping cave fish requires special underwater lights that temporarily illuminate their pale forms against dark stone backgrounds. In these brief moments of artificial daylight, the sleeping fish appear like living pearls scattered through underwater galleries, their translucent bodies glowing softly in the temporary brightness before darkness reclaims their eternal night. On the wind-swept shores of the North Atlantic, where grey seals gather on remote beaches and rocky outcrops, a very different aquatic sleeping story unfolds. These large marine mammals, with their whiskered faces and soulful dark eyes, have mastered the art of sleeping both on land and in water, switching between environments with remarkable adaptability. Grey seals demonstrate perhaps the most flexible sleeping behavior of any marine mammal. On shore, they sleep like land mammals, lying on their sides or bellies on sandy beaches or rocky platforms. But when they enter the water, they transform their sleep patterns completely, adopting techniques similar to those used by whales and dolphins for rest at sea. The sight of sleeping grey seals on a beach creates one of the ocean's most peaceful scenes. These massive animals, which can weigh up to 800 pounds, become surprisingly graceful in repose. They often sleep in groups, their bodies arranged like living boulders along the shoreline, with mothers and pups nestled close together for warmth and protection. Beach sleeping allows grey seals to experience the deep, restorative rest that's difficult to achieve while floating in water. Their breathing becomes slow and regular, and their large bodies generate enough heat to remain comfortable even in the cool Atlantic air. Young pups, covered in fluffy white fur, sleep pressed against their mother's warm sides, their tiny forms rising and falling with each maternal breath. But perhaps more remarkable is how grey seals sleep while floating in open water. Like dolphins, they must maintain some level of consciousness to control breathing. But their approach to aquatic sleep differs significantly from that of smaller cetaceans. Grey seals can sleep while floating vertically in the water, their heads just at the surface and their bodies hanging down like living anchors. This vertical sleeping position, called bottling, allows the seals to rest while automatically surfacing for air. Their natural buoyancy keeps their nostrils above water, while their flippers make small adjustments to maintain position. The gentle motion of waves rocks them like a cradle, and the sounds of the ocean create a constant, soothing background for their aquatic dreams. Groups of seals sometimes sleep together while floating, creating rafts of resting animals that rise and fall with the ocean swells. These floating dormitories can contain dozens of individuals, all peacefully suspended between the sea's surface and its depths. The sight of sleeping seal rafts from above resembles a scattered constellation of dark shapes against the blue water, each one a point of perfect tranquility in the vast ocean. The transition between land and water sleep happens seamlessly for these adaptable marines. A seal might sleep on a beach during low tide, then slip into the water as waves reach higher and continue sleeping while floating. This flexibility allows grey seals to rest whenever and wherever they feel secure, making the most of every opportunity for recovery in their challenging marine environment. In the misty highlands of Scotland, where ancient mountains rise through low clouds and heather carpets the rolling hills in purple waves, red deer have developed sleeping patterns that reflect both their wild heritage and the constant vigilance required for survival in open country. These magnificent creatures, with their branching antlers and russet coats, create some of the most graceful sleeping scenes in the entire animal kingdom. Red deer sleep is a masterpiece of coordinated vigilance and shared responsibility. herds never rest all at once. Instead, they maintain a careful rotation system where some individuals remain alert and watchful while others sleep deeply. This sentinel system allows the herd to achieve collective rest while ensuring that danger is always detected before it becomes a threat. The sleeping positions chosen by red deer reveal their deep understanding of their landscape. They seek elevated areas that provide clear views in all directions, often resting on hillsides where approaching predators would be visible from great distances. The deer arrange themselves so that sleeping individuals are protected by the watchful presence of those who remain alert. A sleeping red deer presents an image of absolute elegance and peace. The animal folds its legs beneath its body, creating a compact shape that conserves heat and can spring into action instantly if needed. Its head may rest on its flank, with ears remaining alert even in sleep to catch any sound that might indicate danger. The deer's breathing creates small clouds in the cool highland air, and its coat seems to glow with warmth against the often grey and misty landscape. Young calves sleep differently from adults, enjoying the luxury of deeper rest under their mother's protection. These spotted babies often sleep stretched out on their sides, their legs folded at comfortable angles, and their faces displaying expressions of complete trust and contentment. Mother deer position themselves to shield their sleeping calves from wind while maintaining clear sightlines for danger detection. The seasonal changes in red deer sleep patterns reflect the harsh realities of highland life. During summer, when food is abundant and weather mild, deer can afford longer rest periods and deeper sleep. But winter brings challenges that compress sleep into brief, vigilant intervals, as the animals must spend more time foraging for scarce food while remaining alert for predators drawn by the deer's winter vulnerability. The highland landscape itself contributes to the peaceful quality of deer sleep. The constant whisper of wind through heather and grass creates natural white noise that masks small sounds, while allowing larger disturbances to stand out clearly. The rolling contours of the land provide natural windbreaks and shelter, while the open vistas ensure that no threat can approach unseen. During the rutting season, when autumn brings the haunting calls of stags echoing across the hills, sleep patterns change dramatically. Dominant males sleep very little, spending their energy on defending territory and competing for mates. Their brief rest periods become moments of exhausted collapse rather than peaceful slumber, while females and young deer continue their more regular sleeping routines in the protective presence of the vigilant stags. As our gentle journey through the sleeping world of animals draws toward its peaceful close, we find ourselves surrounded by countless images of rest and renewal. From the depths of ocean trenches to the peaks of mountain ranges, from scorching deserts to frozen tundra, life has found infinite ways to embrace the essential rhythm of sleep. Each creature we've encountered has shared with us their own perfect solution to life's challenges. The ingenuity of their adaptations speaks to millions of years of careful refinement, where every detail has been shaped by the dual needs of rest and survival. Whether sleeping while swimming, flying, hanging upside down, or buried deep underground, each animal has discovered its own pathway to the peace that sleep provides. These stories remind us that sleep is far more than a biological necessity. It's a bridge that connects us to every living thing, a shared experience that transcends species and environment. In our own moments of rest, we join this ancient communion of sleeping creatures, adding our peaceful presence to the great symphony of life at rest. The natural world teaches us that there are as many ways to sleep as there are ways to live. Each adaptation is perfect for its particular circumstances, each solution elegant in its simplicity. From the briefest microsecond, naps, to months-long hibernation, From solitary rest to communal slumber, the sleeping world offers endless examples of life's creativity and resilience. As you prepare for your own journey into sleep tonight, carry with you these gentle images of resting creatures. Picture the otters holding hands on moonlit waters, the penguins huddled together against Antarctic winds, the dolphins sleeping with ancient wisdom in their peaceful eyes. Remember that across our planet, millions of animals are finding their own perfect moments of rest, each one contributing to the endless, peaceful rhythm of sleeping life. In forests and fields, in oceans and deserts, in caves and treetops, the great cycle of rest and renewal continues as it has for millions of years. Sleep connects us all in the most fundamental way, reminding us that in a universe of constant change and motion, there are still moments of absolute tranquility waiting for anyone wise enough to embrace them. Sweet dreams, and thank you for joining me on this peaceful exploration of our world's most restful secrets. May your own sleep be as deep and restorative as that of the countless creatures who share this beautiful planet with us. In the rolling grasslands of Mongolia, where horses run free beneath endless skies and the horizon stretches beyond imagination, wild horses have developed sleeping habits that reflect both their ancient freedom and the constant awareness required for survival on the open steppes. These magnificent creatures, with their flowing manes and powerful bodies built for running, demonstrate a sleeping strategy that seems almost impossible until you witness it yourself. Most horses sleep while standing upright, their legs locked in a position that requires no conscious effort to maintain. This remarkable adaptation comes from a system of tendons and ligaments that automatically secure their joints, allowing these 1,000-pound animals to rest without ever lying down. Their heads drop slightly, their eyes close, and they enter a light sleep that keeps them ready to flee at the first sign of danger. Picture a small herd of wild horses as twilight settles over the Mongolian plains. The wind carries the scent of grass and distant rain, and the first stars begin to appear in the darkening sky. One by one, the horses settle into their standing sleep, their bodies swaying gently like trees in a breeze. Their breathing becomes deep and rhythmic, and their ears continue to move constantly, scanning for any sound that might signal the approach of wolves or other predators. But horses cannot achieve their deepest, most restorative sleep while standing. For this essential rest, they must lie down completely, entering a vulnerable state that requires absolute trust in their surroundings. Wild horses take turns lying down for these crucial periods of deep sleep, never allowing more than 1 or 2 herd members to be fully recumbent at the same time. When a horse does lie down for deep sleep, the transformation is remarkable. This powerful creature, capable of galloping at 40 miles per hour across treacherous terrain, becomes utterly peaceful and still. Its massive head rests on the ground, and its legs fold beneath its body in a position of complete relaxation. The horse's breathing slows dramatically, and its entire being seems to surrender to the healing power of profound rest. The sight of a sleeping horse lying in tall grass creates one of the plain's most moving images. The animal's coat seems to glow in the starlight, and its peaceful expression speaks of dreams that might involve running free across endless meadows or standing quietly with companions in the warmth of summer sunshine. Young foals often sleep pressed against their mother's sides, their smaller forms creating perfect pictures of trust and security. High in the Himalayan mountains, where the air grows thin and snow-capped peaks touch the clouds, yaks have adapted to sleeping at altitudes that would challenge most other mammals. These shaggy giants, with their thick coats and steady temperament, rest peacefully in conditions where the oxygen content is half what exists at sea level. demonstrating remarkable physiological adaptations that allow them to thrive in the world's highest places. Yak sleep reflects their incredible hardiness and their deep connection to the mountain environment. These animals lie down together in groups, their thick fur providing insulation against temperatures that can drop far below freezing, even in summer. Their bodies generate substantial heat, and when they cluster together for sleep, they create warm microclimates that protect them from the harsh mountain weather. The sleeping positions of yaks show their practical approach to survival in extreme conditions. They orient themselves to minimize exposure to wind, often lying with their backs to the prevailing breeze, and their heads tucked low to conserve body heat. Their breathing, visible as clouds of vapor in the thin, cold air, creates a gentle rhythm that speaks of creatures perfectly adapted to their challenging homeland. Young yak calves sleep nestled deep in their mother's thick fur, almost disappearing completely into the warm, shaggy coats that surround them. These babies must grow quickly to survive the mountain winter, and their sleep is profound and uninterrupted, allowing rapid development under the protection of their massive, patient mothers. The mountain landscape itself contributes to the peaceful quality of yak sleep. The profound silence of high altitudes, broken only by the whisper of wind across snow and stone, creates an environment of deep tranquility. The thin air carries sounds clearly across great distances, allowing sleeping yaks to remain aware of their surroundings even while resting deeply in their mountain sanctuary. And so, our peaceful journey through the sleeping world draws to its gentle close. We've witnessed dolphins dreaming with half their minds awake, elephants finding rest in just 2 precious hours, and countless other creatures discovering their own perfect pathways to peace. Each story reminds us that sleep connects every living being on our planet in the most beautiful way. As you drift toward your own rest tonight, you join this ancient rhythm that has pulsed through life for millions of years. Sweet dreams.